Hello, people.
Yes.
We are back at To The Podcast, episode 109. And we are
fast.
back in the building. Your boy, International Walk.
It's your girl, Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
And we back in front of this goddamn camera for another episode of Act To The Podcast. You guys can catch us on act2thepodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, TikTok, Breaker, and Spotify.
That was good.
And was it?
You still reading your notes, but that was good.
All right, well, you didn't have to let the people know. Get right to it. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm doing great today. Mentally, I'm going to say I'm a 10 at this moment.
Ooh,
and I feel
10.
great. And I'm saying that, one, because I honestly feel it at this moment, but also just to think positive and feel positive. You know, I did something, it may not be major to others. It ain't that major, but I took some time off today because I needed it mentally. I knew my husband needed me. I needed him. And it was just like, priorities, work-life balance. I'm working my behind off like I always do. And I wanted to be very strategic with my PTO time this year because I want us to enjoy, vacations and things like that. But I also want to make a lot of noise over there. I also want to be able to step away when I need to, and I needed that. So was happy to just be able to take some time away, refresh my mind, and it was for good. I handled some business at 8:00 this morning, but that was it. And I didn't have to do that. My boss was like, thank you for, doing this. I know you're off tomorrow. When I told him that I would be doing that. So I'm just feeling really good right now. And you're feeling good, which helps me feel good. And yeah, so I'm a 10 mentally. At this moment, I'm a 10. I'm living where my feet are. My feet are in a 10.
Finances
are 10. No complaints.
What the pockets looking like?
My pocket's looking good. I don't have no complaints. Food is high as hell. Just, had some conversations about grocery. Life is high right now, but I'm grateful that, we have made decisions from a budgeting standpoint for our own self, which I think is just the responsible thing to do regardless of what's going on in life. But we ain't really had to sacrifice like things that we want. We've made some mature we made some mature decisions on just things that we can cut back, but it's so that we can enjoy other things. So no complaints. I'm a 10.
Okay, what's work looking like?
Today work is a 10.
Ooh, shit. That's what you do.
Roll.
When you want a no-hitter, you don't want to get next to the picture. You don't want to talk about the last one. Physicality.
Physically, I'm going to say I'm a 9. Yeah. No. You know what? We living where our feet are. At this moment, nothing is hurting. Nothing is aching. I'm moving around. I'm a 10.
Ding, 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 ding. That is the first sweep of the check-in round. Nobody never had 10, 10, 10, 10.
I'm 10s across the board,
God
baby.
Damn.
I'm
That's
10s
hot.
across the board, baby.
I like that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
10, 10, 10. You ain't never had a 10, 10, 10
But I'm
round.
feeling good. And you know what? God is great. And I'm going to just, not to digress for a minute, but I'm going to digress for a minute. Prayer works. But prayer, you can't just pray. You got to pray and listen and shut up, meaning shut up your own thoughts and really allow God to guide you. It ain't always easy because we so stuck in controlling everything that we do. And sometimes you just got to let God lead the way and he won't lead you astray. And I'm not saying that to rhyme, but it rhymes. But, and it makes me feel good where I can just feel that, not like I'm like a puppet, but he's orchestrating everything. And I that makes me feel good. So I feel great in this moment.
That is fucking awesome. Again, another hand clap for the sweep of the check-in round. 10, 10, 10, 10. That means somebody is feeling at peak performance today.
I do.
And that's a blessing.
I feel great.
That's a fucking blessing.
How are you?
Mentally, I feel like a 10 right now.
Whoop, whoop.
See? So, almost there.
And our energy feeds off of each other, so...
Yeah, I feel like a 10 right now.
Yeah.
Finances, a 10.
Ooh.
I don't have no issues there.
How's work?
I'm not there, so it's a 10. And I talked to some people from work, and it's going well, so it's a 10.
That's good.
So
that's good.
that's
You
happy
know why
about
it's
that.
going well? Because great leaders make great leaders. You're a great leader. You've fed into others to make them great leaders. That's the mark of a true leader. Just having people that can follow you, that's all well and good. But have people that can step into your shoes when you're not there. That's the mark of a great leader. So shout out to you and your team.
Shout out to my team.
Yeah. How are you doing physically?
Physically, I feel great right now. Pushing the envelope a little bit, but I feel great. Putting the shades on because I am also physically a 10.
Woo!
Bam! Bam! Bam!
I think we should just
bam!
end the show right
bam!
here.
Bam! Bam! When the fuck have you ever seen 10, 10, 10 in the checkout round on the Act 2 podcast?
This feels
there
like
you go.
the winner's. It's not a circle. Can we be a circle if we just two people?
Yeah. All we gotta do is hold hands here and hold hands here.
And we're a winner's circle.
Yep. There you go. So 10, 10, 10, 10 for both of us all the way across the board in the check-in round. Wilds and woes, ups and downs, blacks and whites, stop and goes.
So I'm going to flip
Do's
it
and
a little
don'ts.
bit and just give a whoa and then a whoa, which led into a wow. My whoa this week was just seeing my baby wasn't a 10 all week. And I'm going to just be transparent and not put his business out there. But my baby wasn't a whoa. And sometimes I think that, when people deal with things, we know on the surface how it can affect them, or even our own selves. We know how, especially if it's health related, something affecting you physically. But it's layers to that can come up to the surface at any time and you don't know. And for you this week, this was a difficult mental week. And for me, so that was the whoa, just seeing my baby be down. The wow was it just empowered me to just think about what can I do, because he's my priority. And if he ain't all right, I gotta be all right to make him be all right. But I also have to make sure that I'm all right. So again, going back to taking time off to get my own self together so that I can be okay, and then I can feed into him. So that was the whoa, just, and I prayed to God to just use me in whatever way is necessary, because this is uncharted territory. I've had health issues in the sense of having procedures and things like that, but it wasn't something that we thought could be life-changing. Like, we had to make some small changes in our life, but not anything to the magnitude of what you've experienced. And that was just the wow and the whoa. The whoa, seeing you be down in those moments, because it's been for a few days, and then the wow, just asking God and allowing God to use me to step up and step into the role that I know that I have in your life. But I take on that challenge wholeheartedly at any time, like, to make sure that you good, regardless of whatever comes into play.
I appreciate that. Everybody needs that. Everybody don't have that. But I appreciate having a superb wife in my corner and friend, first of all. Just somebody that I can confide in, because, we want to be strong, but I feel safe not being strong around her. And that counts. That counts a whole lot. It counts to a point where you can't even quantify it in words. But, yeah, so great things.
What's your wow whoa this week?
I'm gonna go with my whoa first. Was to piggyback off what you were saying, is that it just wasn't the greatest week. I got through it. We got through it, but it wasn't the greatest week. Probably the worst of all of them. And just not feeling like myself on some days, whether it be through faults of my own or just stuff that's going on in my life. But yeah, and then the wow would be that I was feeling down. I was feeling like I was missing my fellas at work, and my wife, thoughtful as she is, went behind my back, got some connections, and talked to the fellas at work, and got them to meet us for lunch today. And that shit, it made me feel so good, just to be out the house, and not only out the house, but feel like myself outside the house, feel good, have some energy, and see my fellas. I haven't seen them since I've been off, and it's been a few weeks. So just to see them, hug them, look them in their faces, it meant a whole lot to me. It meant a lot to me. And I can't wait to get back to work. But that's my wow, and that's my woe.
I'm happy to be part of that, and I'm grateful for you having people in your life. You don't have a huge circle of friends, and I tell you all the time, I love you more than anybody on this earth could even begin to love you. But I know there are others that love you, so I knew in this moment you needed to be surrounded by that love, and just, needed to be nurtured in that way. And, shout out to your friends. They were like, yep, we'll be there, like no hesitation. And I appreciate them for loving you.
Yeah. I would do the same for them. So, I love those guys. Talking about the Grammys. Grammys happened on Sunday. God damn, it's warm in here.
Yeah, you can drink some water.
The Grammys happened on Sunday. What's your thoughts?
Well,
just let like dead air go right there.
You was like in the middle of the sentence. You said
So what's your thoughts on performances? What's your thoughts on the show? Clips? Did you watch anything?
So, bummer, I did not get a chance to see the full Grammys. What I did see was amazing, which was the hip hop
50-year anniversary.
The 50-year anniversary, yeah, but I was trying to think the compilation of the like the history of hip hop, which I thought was almost like it was so good that it wasn't enough. It was like a teaser, because each segment, they only had a certain amount of time, so each segment was just a few lines from those various artists. But LL Cool J did allude to that just being a taste of more to come. So I'm looking forward to...
So because this should be like a celebration for the 50-year hip-hop show. Like
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, he just said more to come. So if it is, and it's going to be like of that mind frame, I'm excited about that, because it kind of because I know it probably will be even more artists like he said, which I thought it's a shame he had to say it, because it's like, duh, we know, but I'm sure some people were a little salty that they weren't included. But he's like, we can't include everybody. But I thought about certain pivotal figures that were like, I wanted to see Meek. Meek has been so instrumental in hip hop. Like, just even if he would have just bust out and said,
well, it was
bike on 12 o'clock, like the crowd would have went crazy.
Or just play that theme.
Yeah.
Once you hear that song.
But I understand you can't include there are so many songs. I thought about Fabulous. I'm not a huge Fabulous fan because I just don't know his music like that, but he has some hits. I thought about Future. I know none of Future's songs, but again, I get the fact, but he's huge, but I get that you can't include everybody.
It was supposed to be a 23-minute performance.
Okay.
And it was only 14.
Why?
Because of some people backed out at the very last minute. So when you see like this artist wasn't there, or if you notice that they went from 2003 or 2000,
so like Lil Baby,
and like skipped the whole gap because there was some artists who were on the card who backed out at the last minute because they don't get along with other artists and didn't want to be on stage with them. So you got like I was happy to see Run DMC up there because they had beef and they squashed their beef and was able to do it. Flavor Flav and Chuck D, the same thing.
They had beef?
They had beef, wasn't speaking for years, and they squashed their stuff. So that's good to see. But the notable misses for me, I mean, you said Meek. The notable misses for me was
Bad Boy.
Like after the locks came out, Puffy should have came out.
Yeah, Bad Boy has been.
Yeah, Bad Boy. He has to be.
You can't write the history of hip hop without Bad Boy.
And there should have been some songs played from Biggie and Snoop.
Kim or Fox.
Snoop. Yes. There's no Snoop Dogg, and that's ridiculous not to have Snoop, which is like the longest living legend rapper next to Jay-Z, like on the planet. Like, how do you not have Snoop? In that, and you talking about the East Coast West Coast thing, like just not having Snoop be a part of that. Ice Cube, Eminem, Yeah, there was a lot of people.
You know who stood out in my mind? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
That I thought, of course, he couldn't be there, but even if they had just played a growl, DMX.
Yeah.
Like when Locks came out, I just knew okay, they're gonna interject something DMX related, and I was surprised not to see it.
Yeah.
I thought the women of the current, no shade to Glorilla, that's like very current. But between Queen Latifah and Glorilla, I mean they had Salt and Pepper. I was a huge
you gotta have Salt and Pepper. You gotta bring out MC Light. And when Bad Boy comes out, you got to bring out Kim.
Where was Eve reference?
You got to bring out Eve with the locks. She's got to be in there.
And even if the people can't be there, like you said, just playing a little Shake Your Tambourine snippet or something like that. Like I just, but again, I didn't know about the time frame. So that's 9 minutes that was missing.
That was supposed to be there from artists saying, no, I don't want to be on stage with him or her or
but
whatever.
I get the fact that, okay, this wasn't the hopefully coming 50th anniversary celebration, but just that moment of time, it felt a little rushed, because when Little Baby popped on, I was like, it's time for me to like exit, that's stage right, exit stage left, because I like Little Baby. I don't know Little Baby, so like I'm not of the other than Meek and who else? I don't know.
Lil Baby and Third Voices of the Hero. You know that album.
I know that album, but that's about it. Like if somebody, like I know there are some popular Dirk lines, some popular Lil Baby lines. If somebody bet me $100, I wouldn't know one off top of my head. That's all I'm saying. So so when Little Baby came out, I thought, wow, we jumped a lot, but okay.
Also, some people that like changed hip hop. Like where was Luke in 2 Live Crew? Where was
that whole down south was missing.
Where was Master P?
T.I.
Where was T.I.? Where was Jeezy? Like those are people that had albums that was like changing the sound of hip hop. Like trap music. Like how you not gonna have T.I. on there? Like he got six albums and 5 of them are classics. Like how you not going to have him on there?
I think there's still hip hop, even though that period might have been a little popish. When I saw Big Boy, where was Andre 3000?
Andre 3 Stacks be on something else.
I know he in the streets playing the flute and stuff, but
he could have been in Africa, like doing something, or he could have been in Missouri doing something.
Yeah,
like, it could be anywhere. Like he just be on his own accord. But to see Big Boy and no Andre 3 Stacks, for it to be no Snoop, for it to be no Ice Cube, no Master P, like these are guys that changed No Limit and what was Baby's label?
Cash Money.
Cash Money. Like those labels showed that you can be owners in the music business and push your own thing and be independent when everybody else that they were showing was on labels.
Now,
so you got to have them as part of the culture to be like, okay, Master P changed the game.
No Limit, Cash Money,
Cash Money, and all of them, like they showed up in rap in a different way.
Yeah.
Like we're taking ownership and you're going to be partners with us. So they're a part of the 50-year hip hop thing too. So I just think they should have been in there also.
So I never thought about it just from this perspective. But then again, I thought about Wayne, but because he was in the big performance, maybe not. But 2 pivotal groups, whether you like them or not, Murder Inc., what Ja Rule and Ashanti and all those collabs did, and G Unit.
Yeah. You gotta have 50.
So I'm thinking maybe for this 50th anniversary, because I look at it like this, right? All the stuff that you talked about, there are like families of hip hop that are like, you got your Rough Riders crew, your Bad Boy crew. Now, Def Jam is like kind of an overarching umbrella, which birthed a lot of these. But then you have your Murder Inc. crew, you have your G Unit, State Property. Yeah. Like you got that. Yeah, Rockefeller as a whole was like doing its thing. So I'm hoping now. Again, I hope that it's done in a tasteful way, because that presentation, I love the fact that Questlove was the composer, which doesn't surprise me that it was so seamlessly put together.
Right.
But I hope that whatever celebration they do, because I'm going off what LL said, that it is like as tastefully done as that, with no drama. Because if you think about it, you got G Unit, you got Murder Inc. I hope 50 Cent don't be up there saying nothing out the side of his face that may cause some ruckus behind the scenes and that. So I mean, and it also made me excited. Like, just when they say take me back to yesterday, like we was in here.
I want to see Fat Joe, Terror Squad, Nori. I want to see Big Pun. Like, I want to.
You can't see Big Pun.
Well, I want to hear Big
the
Pun,
music,
but I mean, I want to have a, take me back to yesterday with all that stuff. Don't leave it out. Like, those were pivotal moments where it was like, damn, like Nori and the War Report, like that shit was huge. Like Wu-Tang Clan.
Not only
like,
that,
how's it not gonna be no Wu-Tang?
And not only
like
that,
Wu-Tang is the most noticeable symbol in hip hop history. Like, how is not gonna? I mean, you got the Method Man, but still, but it's not in the motherfuckers.
No Tupac references either.
No Biggie references.
Yeah, so I think again, you have those people, and maybe who knows?
And they brought out Rakim, but there wasn't no Big Daddy Kane.
But maybe they do a segment where it's like a compilation, because I'm sure Questlove could put something together that's magnificent. A compilation of hit songs from our artists who have passed. If you think about a mix he could do with Big Pun, Tupac, Biggie, Nipsey, and like linking these, even you go to
Pop
the newer people's Pop Smoke, because I love, I don't know any of his music, but Pop Smoke, I love his voice. Like, I only know like when I hear the like those. But if you think something that Questlove can web to, because Questlove as a musician, first of all, starting it off with Black Thought got me excited because just his lyricism is beyond. But if you think about the thread that he could connect between those artists who have passed now, and hopefully again people will be respectful if you got some compilation with Tupac and Biggie, these people who may not have got along while alive, but considering they're no longer here, and then imagine having something amazing, a compilation with the females, Trina, Kim,
where
Foxy.
was the Fugees? Where was Lauryn Hill?
Lauryn Hill might have been in Idaho if Andre 3000 was in Missouri.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm just saying, those are pivotal groups, the Fugees. Like, you can't leave out of hip hop.
But you also can't base a show around scheduling them because she may not show up. But I think that, again, even some of those people, I think that's a way that they could have incorporated some of the people that, of course, couldn't be on stage. Just play a little melody. We would have got the hint.
Right.
They would have still been represented. So, I mean, no shade. He did a great job in the composition of the presentation. Knowing that it was 9 minutes short, it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. While there were some, I think we could go on and name a lot of people, but I think some of the most pivotal people that were missing were, like you said, I agree.
Ice Cube and Snoop and Bad Boy.
Yeah, and Tupac. I don't think you could, like...
But I mean, you can't really say anything about somebody that's passed, right? I'm talking about like live people. Ice Cube could have been there.
But
Snoop could have been there.
Well, you mean
there.
The people being there?
Yeah, like them three could have been there. Where it was like,
Puffy could have just came out with a little.
How did just
shake that?
No NWA. You got like Dr. Dre just got the award back there. So I mean, no NWA reference. Like, that's crazy. Yeah.
And then, it makes me wonder if it's this age. Now, this is not including Snoop, because I feel like Snoop has set a standard in media culture, music, TV, across the board, where despite what his extracurricular activities may be or may have been, so maybe, marijuana, we know he is like the face of marijuana, or his past gang, his past gang relations, he surpassed all of that, which I love to see that they haven't like, what do you call it? Like blackballed him or not wanted. Like he's side by side with Martha Stewart. Now Martha
Snoop
Stewart
smoked weed in the White House.
Martha Stewart don't set no standards for nothing, but we know in this culture in society, those who are in charge, who are fairer skinned than us, can say, we don't want them to tarnish our brand because of what he's known for. Snoop has surpassed that.
Yeah.
But what it does make me think, though, are there some people that maybe they didn't want to have represented because of their past. Like when I think about NWA, I think about F the Police. Like that's, I mean, I know they have other songs, but that's what I immediately think about.
But you got to think of Straight Outta Compton, and you say that, but you got Ice-T, who wrote a song called Cop Killer, but plays a cop on TV for over 25 years, longer than anybody, and he can get up there and do it.
But you got to think, right? NWA, they kind of ended their career and still of that phase of F the Police. I know they had Straight Outta Compton too, but
that was first. I mean, that's all on the same album.
But I'm saying that, but it's all within the same era. Tutuola, Ice-T, has
came out in '84 with a song called Cop Killer.
Yeah, but you got to think, and when we look at his career, that part of his career was this. Tutuola was this.
Yeah, he's played a cop longer than anybody on TV.
So I say that to say, I think when people think about Ice-T, I'm just thinking from a media brand perspective, right? When you say certain names, what comes to mind?
If you 30, I understand what you're saying. If you 30 years old, you don't know Ice-T rap.
Exactly.
When he came out and you 30 or younger,
you like that's Tutuola from SVU.
Yeah.
But when you think about NWA, I think no matter where you are, yes, we know they have other songs, but you thinking, oh, that's the group that sang F the Police. So I think,
but I think that reference it should be like that was a pivotal song. Like for people to write a song at that time called "Fuck the Police,"
but you gotta think, what kind of backlash do they want to receive?
Yeah,
you know what kind of.
I mean, I don't think you perform that on the Grammys, but you perform like.
But it's gonna be the representation. Y'all had these people who sang this, and people will complain about anything. What about Chuck D and Flavor Flav?
They was mad militant.
But that was more fight the power than F the Police.
Gotcha.
Same narrative, right. But it's just how you say it.
Martin
they were
Luther
more
King
so.
And Malcolm X.
Exactly. They were more so of the building up of black people, where NWA was, we gonna build up black people by burning everything else down.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it comes from, of what is going to be people's reaction. And I would love to be not just a fly on the wall. I would love to be at the table when those conversations are being had, because one of the things I noticed too with Lil Baby and whoever his PR person or management team behind him is, they're doing an amazing job of allowing
control.
But I know that's like the management from the music perspective, but who's the management beyond the persona and the image? He done recently been on SNL. I seen him do another like funny like promo or commercial or something like that. And then he was kind of put out there as the face of current rap.
Yeah.
Him and Glorilla.
Glorilla shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, I mean, she
like you said, I was happy for her.
New. I was happy for her, but it felt out of place.
You can't have her there. She's been doing this for 4 months, 6 months. You can't have her there.
Where was Cardi?
She had Cardi was there. Like, so it's a lot of people you could have had come out other than Glorilla. Although I'm not hating and saying like, she sucked. She was pretty good, but
she was like the right now of hip hop.
Yeah, she should have been. She should have been in next year's or the next 5 years if she stayed that long. But to do it for 6 months and be in that kind of performance on the Grammys,
I was going to say it would have been different if she had her own performance, because we've seen them give new artists the spotlight. But to be in that compilation felt misplaced. But shout out to her, because now, of course, we've seen like shows like American Idol, where people kind of get that, I'm not going to even say instant fame, I'm going to call it fast fame, where you go on this show and I'm not saying it's easy either, because I think Simon Cowell puts them through hell to get to where they but it's kind of like you're given a head start, but you got to make it work, and we've seen that not everybody has made it work. Glorilla, in a different sense of being pulled out the trenches by
Yo Gotti,
and like really given a shot, because we know so many people who can sing real good, or maybe can rap, or just have some skills, and they aren't given the opportunity. So I love the fact that she was doing whatever she was doing, using social media in her hood, and was given an opportunity, and now is living out her dreams. And hopefully, we can look back 10 years from now and be like, I remember what happened with that girl. So I'm not familiar with her music. When I hear it, it's like, okay.
It's the same come up you see from Cardi. When Cardi came out with Bodak Yellow, like that was the same type of, she didn't have her teeth fit. She wasn't all put together like she is now. She had the one song and it was making way. And hers is doing the same thing. Hers just come with a dance.
Yeah.
And
but
I hope
Cardi
they come up and be like, I hope her career is equal to hers when she gets big.
Cardi kind of had her introduction for a while though through reality TV, and then it was like, I don't think anybody knew from the beginning, unless you was like familiar with her, that she was going to go into that lane, because when she was introduced on the show, it wasn't obvious that her career was going to go from there to where it is now. So definitely we witnessed the come up, which is awesome. I recently seen a picture of her where she was probably 110 pounds soaking wet, and she's a pretty girl to begin with, but it was just like looked like a regular girl in the hood, and it was like
they had put a picture of her that said back in the day, Glorilla worked at Checkers.
Oh wow, that's dope.
And it was like 2018. How the fuck's that back in the day?
Yeah, that's 5 years
ago. It was like, this was new. Like, what are y'all talking about?
This picture of Cardi I seen was probably like
that just
early
lets you
90s.
know how shit is moving so fast.
When people say back in
2018 is back in the day.
Well, I mean,
like she been in hip hop 4 months. It's 2023. And y'all say back in the day she used to work at Checkers, like that was just 2018. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not like she worked at the Ponderosa or some restaurant.
Sizzler.
Yeah, some restaurant
Ribbits.
is not here no more. Like,
you haven't been to Ribbits?
I have not.
We used to go to Ribbits often with my aunt and uncle. Well, with my uncle and aunt, because it was my uncle, but it was his wife, so my uncle and aunt. And I never had the ribs. I don't remember, but they had good chicken. That was very random, but yeah.
What did you think about the theme, the overall theme of the show?
So, I gotta be honest. I don't know what it was. What was
the overall theme? Was just like everything was LGBTQ plus A, like everything between the Lizzo in the front camera. Everything she stands for. Nobody got up there and said any speech or gave any award without shouting out the queer community. Everybody, the Harry Styles, the Sam Smith, like all the devil outfits, like all that kind of shit themed around that community. And it's like, like all the fans that they picked for each artist was gay. Every fan was gay. Or trans or some sort of
that's not true.
It was true.
The lady Alicia that they picked for Beyonce has a husband, and they
I don't know, but they said every fan was gay. So all right, whatever.
Okay, whatever. But I'm just, so with that being said, so this is the thing, because
just because you have a husband don't mean you can't be bi.
That's true. Which ties into Lizzo. So this is the thing though. It's almost like, and when I say the world, this isn't inclusive of everyone, because I wouldn't say we're included in this. And just follow me. Not to say we're against anything or anybody.
No.
But we're not like waving the flag of inclusivity. It's just not, I mean, yeah, we are if we know you, but it ain't like, oh, all ye who are LGBTQIA plus come unto us. But there are some people who feel like that's the message they want to give, even if they aren't part of that community. And I say that because Lizzo is very well known to be a heterosexual woman.
Right.
She's just, and maybe
but her fan base.
That's what I was going to say.
Community.
I think
so that's who she panders to, and it seemed like everybody that was on that stage had some sort of pandering to that community.
Well, let's be honest. Renaissance, the biggest album
that's
and all of the.
That's where I'm going with the whole theme of the show, like the Renaissance.
But that's what I'm saying. The album. So I think again, the show was geared in that way because that the show is a microcosm of what's happening in the world right now. So why wouldn't it? Why? Because think about this.
It's too much though. You can't just like they didn't when it wasn't that they didn't just have a show about straight people.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But you think about this, right? we've been watching a lot of TV lately. I mean, well, not a lot. We've been watching series and like finishing them. What do you call like binging? Every show, and I said this to you, every show that we watch has at least one, maybe two, maybe even three homosexual couples or interactions in them.
Yes.
And it's like, now don't get me wrong, some people might say, oh, it's a whole bunch, it's always been a whole bunch of sex and everything, which is also not needed. Like in some, you can think there may be some shows where sex ain't involved and it's still good. But it's like, why is it now the need to have this infiltrated in everything? But I think,
hold on, just watching another show like Force, the Power Universe. Why does the brother have to be gay on that with Tommy? Like, I don't know where that's going, but why does the brother have to be gay? This is a drug show about drugs and kingpins and people taking over and people get killed left and right. Why does one character just have to be gay?
Well, the sister too, or the other side. Remember, she was with the woman. Again, it's more. I don't. But this is a thing too. I think it's you and I think it's a cultural thing and a generational thing. And I'll say this, and I don't want to give too many specifics, but I was with some people that I love, right? And they were, having conversations, and they were talking about like not really relationships, but just like relationships, and very openly having a conversation about lesbian relationships. And I just felt like, why?
Back up. What'd you say now?
I was with some people I love, and I'm being vague on purpose, but we can talk about it later. And they were just talking about relationships, but very openly talking about lesbian relationships or the possibility. And I was like, but I was the minority where it was like, what's wrong with you? Like, and again, not that I have anything against it, but I guess, and I always use this analogy, I'm like the old people who was like hesitant to use the ATM because it was so new, and it was like, I'm not getting my money out this machine. Where to our generation at the time, it was like, what you mean? Like, go to the machine, like it's no big thing. So I think now we are that older generation where we're like, oh my God, we're seeing all this. And the younger generation is like, so what? What's the big deal? And where it was like, I was the minority and I kind of felt uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it just felt very strange.
I would want to say what the fuck I feel. That makes me think like a person like a Boosie like makes his argument plausible when he say you keep feeding stuff to people, they're going to want to do it.
Yeah, but
and that don't go for everybody. It don't mean just because a boy sees something gay, he gonna be gay. But if you keep feeding somebody something, it makes people comfortable enough to talk about lesbian relationships. It makes people comfortable enough to put gay characters constantly on TV because it's the thing to do. Like you said, it's people that I know aren't like this, but want to give praise to that community or make inclusiveness even if that's not them. But that's just a message that they want to put out there.
So, but I'm wondering too, again, is it us who are the minority because it's just a world that we don't have experience, and not meaning individually, like personally, but we don't have, to our knowledge, like immediate family members. Like I have a cousin who I know, I have a couple cousins who I know who are gay, and I love them, but it's not like we have a close relationship where like I'm around them with their partners. So again, maybe we're the minority, and for everyone else it's like this is every day. So while we're holding on to our traditional values that may be becoming archaic, it's almost like this. Again, I'm being vague for a purpose. Some other people who I love, and like somebody found out their child was smoked weed, and they were kind of like the minority. And I'm talking about like a family of like 7 people, where it was kind of like, yeah, like what's the big deal? And this person is like 17, and it was kind of like, what's the big deal? Like everybody does. And they were like, no, why is this okay? Why should I just be accepting of this? Like, and it's like, it's weed. Everybody does it. But again, it's holding on to our traditional values, which, not to be repetitive, maybe becoming archaic, because everybody is becoming so accepting. And whether you think it's right or wrong or not, it's like, are we at the point now where is no turning back?
I mean, you don't have to go with it, so you don't got it. It's not even about turning back. You don't have to go with it. But I think it's. I'm inclusive. I don't know. I mean, I know gay people, but I'm not against anybody who does whatever they want to do.
Not
like,
against it at all.
No pushback from me at all. But I'm just saying, why is it so thrown in your face like that? Like, why is it so? Like, everybody, even if you're not part of the community, you just want to put the message out there that I'm inclusive to the LGBTQ community. And it's like,
instead of just doing it, it's almost like white people waving a flag saying, we welcome black people.
Yeah, I have a black
friend.
friend.
Be it, just do it. But yeah, why do you have to, like, I support pride? Like, I love people, everybody, and I'm not shaming or holding anything against anybody, but like you said, it makes me also wonder, what would and we don't know because it ain't true, but what would our perspective be if we had a son, a daughter, a grandchild or something who did live that lifestyle, or was of that persuasion? I don't even know what the right, and this makes me feel crazy too, because I don't want to be offensive, but I don't know what the right thing. So I'm just going to say, if they were a part of that community, would we feel differently? Would we feel like we're happy to see representation so that our child wouldn't feel isolated? I don't know.
I know representation matters. I'm not disputing that. It matters. To see somebody that looks like me doing something that I may want to do can give me the confidence to do said thing. There could be a gay boy who want to blow his head off because he don't see representation of himself on TV. I get that. But sometimes it just seems like in the most inconspicuous spots, here it goes. And to have a Grammys around the whole theme of it, like Sam Smith came out and sang in a dress and had devil worship themes, and like, how is that stuff accepted? Like,
no, when it comes, I probably would have changed the channel, because we can talk about acceptance of people's lifestyle and sexuality all day long. I'm not accepting.
And is that like stuff a FU to religious people who think we're going to hell for who we are? So I'm going to pretend to be the devil with a pitchfork and have little angels dance around me and shit. Like, what? I don't know what you're trying to say.
It's a different way to say that than to disrespect God. So that you cannot believe, or you could not believe in what those people believe in, or be against what those people believe in. But there's a very fine line between blasphemy and making a stand. That's so. Yeah, I would not be in support of or clapping for, like, you out here like F you to, because you can say F you to the people, but we won't say F you to God.
Right.
The church ain't perfect, Christians ain't perfect, God is. So we ain't gonna walk. There isn't a fine line. For me, it's a very clear and distinct line that I'm not going to allow somebody to cross over. So, I mean, if I was in that kind of environment, I would probably excuse or not. I mean, if you're at the Grammys, not excuse myself, but I ain't clapping for it like this is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know that dude had a good song, like when he first came out, that I used to hear playing a lot.
Right, but I thought he had kind of fell off, but maybe
it
not.
all changed to like different music, and I didn't even know he was gay when he came out, but like what he showed on stage at the Grammys is like a different type of homosexuality.
I think when he first came out,
it was almost like he was singing a love ballad that was nice, and it was like,
I think
almost
he was,
like
but probably to a man,
Ed Sheeran,
yeah,
like almost like that. But he went totally left with his music.
I think too, the like you said, when you see more people giving you the head nod and giving you the approval and not shunning you, it probably gives them not just the confidence but the courage to be what they may feel inside, which is all well and good.
They had a full transgender girl bring him out before he came out, and just like putting stuff like that there, like, let's bring a person out to introduce him. Yeah, it's just crazy. What did you think about Dr. Dre getting the Dr. Dre Award and it being black, the Grammy? wasn't a gold Grammy, it was a black Grammy.
So is that the first time that they've done that?
Yeah, it was the first time that they invented that award. So they invented the Dr. Dre Award and gave it to Dr. Dre. What's your thoughts on that and the fact that it was black?
Well, the fact that I think it was black, I don't think is necessarily an issue, as long as it, like, next year if a white person gets it, don't make it white.
No, I'm talking about, how about they give him a gold one
Well,
year?
no, that's what I was going to say. I think
so. For future people that gets the Dr. Dre Award, if they get gold Grammys, it's like, well, why'd you give the black dude?
Well,
black
no,
Grammy?
because I think it's more of an honorary award, not like, you know how sometimes somebody might get like a lifetime achievement award, so their award may look a little bit different than the others. So I'm okay with that. And then you figure when he has them on his show, you know, other Grammys that he has that looks like the normal gold Grammy, that one will stand out because, oh, this is special. So that, I don't necessarily feel anything wrong with that, because it does represent, this is something different. This is an honorary award. Along as the, you know, president. One of the things that I love about Dr. Dre, he's another one that has, he has ascended beyond his initial introduction to hip hop culture, because he started out with NWA again, and you know NWA has that song that I hate that he was part of, right?
Yeah.
I hate it. So, but when you think about Dr. Dre today, what do you think about? Immediately, I think about beats. And I think about the billions that he has made. Now, you hear about the other stuff, his divorce and all that kind of stuff.
But you initially think he sold beats for
$1 billion. You think about the business.
Jimmy Iovine.
Yes, you think about the businessman that he is. And then for me, I think about the impact that he has had in terms of production on other people's albums, like Jay-Z. So he's another one who, when you immediately, because again, if you're talking to a 30-year-old, they may not even know that Dr. Dre was part of NWA. When they hear Dr. Dre, they probably automatically think about beats. So, you know, big ups to him. People can start from, you know, not so good beginnings, ghetto beginnings, gang related, and they can change their lives. So, you know, big ups to him. Hopefully he's a good person, as good as his business acumen has been.
So, that water.
Yeah.
So no issue with that award.
Nah, I don't have a problem with that. I think as long as that has now, so is the award now called the Dr. Dre Award?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Well, what exactly do you know for sure? What exactly does it represent? Just like your
longevity, in the producing category, you know, that kind of thing.
That's
having
cool.
A discography like he does.
I don't see a problem with that, as long as that.
So like somebody like Jermaine Dupri could probably get a Dr.
Dre Award, and it'll be the black. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, because it's an honorary award. It's not a, you know, again, when somebody sees it on your shelf, oh, you got all these Grammys. Oh, what's that? And yeah, I was awarded the Dr. Dre Award for this purpose. I think that's cool.
Okay. Anything else about the Grammys you got?
Shout out to my sis, the Queen.
How about give Beyonce Grammys that matter? How about give her Grammy for Album of the Year? And I never even listened to the Renaissance album, but I hear it playing a lot because my wife loves her, and I hear it all around the city or wherever I go. But how about give her awards that matter? Not like the best electro dance song fucking shit, whatever that was.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
like, give her Album of the Year.
So it's crazy, because I've read where Jay-Z has said something like prior to the show that, you know, it's all about marketing and all that stuff, which turned out to be true, because there was, and I don't think he was named, or if so, I don't know the name, but one of the voters of the Grammys, who said that they didn't vote for Beyonce to get Album of the Year, not because they didn't think that it deserved that, but because I'm going to paraphrase, every time she does something, it's a big deal, you know, and sometimes it would just be good to give it to somebody else, give somebody else the honor. That's a bunch of bullcrap. That's like if I'm in school and I'm at the top, I'm doing my thing, and it's like, she's always getting an award. Like, no, if I've earned this, that's what this should be about. It shouldn't be subjective to the point of, oh, you think I'm always getting the award. Am I always making music that deserves the award? If so, then give me my due. Like, that's bull crap.
Yeah.
And whoever that person is should be excluded. Now, again,
should be fired. He shouldn't have that kind of bias.
But see, the problem with that is we only know this person thinks like that because they had the audacity to say it. We don't know if others are thinking that way as well. Which, in that case, you can't really stop the bias. And all it's going to do is just make people be afraid to share their bias in the future. But it's just an indication that we know that these awards ain't fair. I mean, they ain't fair. That, you know, that we've seen in past years, people didn't get recognized for certain things. It's like, wow, that was great music and nothing. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's so much music out there.
Plus, I found out you have to submit your music to the Grammys, and some artists are mad with the Grammys and they don't submit, which is probably why you don't see any speak like Drake. You didn't hear it speak a word of Drake throughout the whole Grammys because he didn't submit music this year.
Do you think people don't submit because it's like, I can't be disappointed? But it's, you think it's also like, I can't be disappointed if you don't pick me because I'm not giving you the option not to pick me.
Right, because it's like, I think I have Album of the Year, but I'm not going to submit it if you think.
And leave it in your hands. And it could also be, you know, it's one of them things where if I remove myself, then while it won't give me a chance to win, but it also won't give me a chance to lose either. Mm-hmm. So I won't have that on my jacket of saying, oh, he's been nominated 10 times but never won. It makes it look like you lost all those times, where technically, if I don't give you my stuff to vote on, then I can't be called a loser. I ain't participate.
But, and another thing I got to say, the last thing I got to say about the Grammys, and I brought him up, I don't know how the hell Snoop Dogg is nominated 22 times for a Grammy and never won one. Like, y'all got to fix the show somehow. I don't know how Snoop Dogg doesn't have one Grammy.
Well, who's voting for the Grammys?
I don't know who. I think the people's supposed to be voting. Or no, I think it's a board or something. I don't know.
I would like to know who they are. And
but I don't know how the most recognizable rapper on the planet, next to Jay-Z, has never won a Grammy in his 25-year illustrious career.
This is what I think. One, I don't think the Grammy board should be one board that votes on all music. I think you should have different committees that vote for different types of music. Like, you should have a committee that's voting on Best Country Album of the Year. You should have a committee that's voting on Best Gospel Album of the Year. Because the person that's voting for Snoop Dogg may not know whether or not, and I'm just making this up, whether or not Rascal Flatts album was...
Or the person that's voting for Bonnie Ray ain't voting for fucking Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, so I think, like, there should be different committees, and it should change based on their relevance in the culture at that time. Maybe not change annually. Like, this just pops into my head. Y'all might think it's crazy. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, maybe have, like, a Van Lathan on the committee, or maybe have like a Stephen A. Smith, people who are unbiased in the sense they're removed, but I will say this: if they don't have current music, what's wrong with having a Dr. Dre and a Jay-Z having a seat at the table to vote for hip hop?
Right.
If they don't have any music, or they don't have a dog in the race that year. Now, if they have an artist out, even though I think they're mature enough to be unbiased, but I think there should be a different structure. You can't have, and if I remember correctly, I think I saw the pictures. There were like, you know, it was a diverse group. Very few of us, if I remember correctly, some older white men. But I don't think that the voting,
not people of the culture of today.
Yeah, I don't think the what are they listening for when they're listening for Best Rap Album of the Year? What are you listening for to determine this? Do you even understand what Little Baby is saying? Because I don't, admittedly. So
yeah, but it might not be about listening. It might be about what did that album sell. I didn't hear one word on it, but you told me it sold 6 million. They sold 4. They sold 3. He's better.
That's horrible, because how many of us are buying music anymore?
But I'm just saying, if that's the criteria and it's the numbers, then they're not even caring about the lyrics or whatever, or impact or culture that kind of relevance. It doesn't matter.
Last question. Do you think that songs from previous years, and not to beat a dead horse, right? But when you say impact on culture, and I'm not saying like this should be the case, but I'm just asking your opinion. When we think about a song, Meek Mill,
Dreams and Nightmares.
right. When we think about the cultural impact that song has had, right? You got people everywhere singing that song. So do you think that song should be able to be voted for Grammys, like even in years when they're no longer new?
It's supposed to be music of that year. That's how that should work, not like old shit.
Okay.
Saw a movie last week called You People.
Yeah.
Okay, you watch, we watch together. You remember?
Yeah. Oh, we've seen a couple.
Laura
movies.
London,
yes,
Eddie Murphy,
You People.
Jonah Hill, Mike
It was
Epps.
pretty good.
So what did you think about the heavy play on the Black Muslim references?
I wasn't offended by it. I mean, this is.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. The heavy play on the Black Muslim references pertaining to the black side of his family, the Jewish side of his family, and how Juliette Lewis-Dreyfus was his mom, Eddie Murphy and Nia Long was his mom and dad.
Her mom and dad,
and how strongly they portrayed the black side of the Muslim as far as the kufi burning, the references to Farrakhan. None of that was on the Jewish side. They didn't do that with his family, but they did that with the black family. Him taking Jonah Hill to an all Crip barbershop. Like them type of stereotypes, going to a basketball court with a white boy thinking he couldn't play, along with other black people. Like those type of stereotypes they perpetuate on the black side of the family, but on the Jewish side of the family, they don't go that far. Like burning a fucking kufi. Like, I thought it was hilarious, but I'm just saying they go really far with these stereotypes and things that, and I just brought that up, and that's stuff that you probably didn't even recognize, but it's like, why don't y'all go that far on the Jewish side if you're making it funny? Why don't you do some stereotypes about his race and his culture, but you do all of them about the black people. The dad that comes in there yelling about Farrakhan, and he's like the FOI Muslim, like that type of shit. I'm going to bring you to an all Crip barbershop. Like, those type of stereotypes is like bad for the culture.
I mean, are they bad or are they true?
Well, all stereotypes are true.
Well, so I mean, I don't think, was it displayed?
Just because it's true don't mean it ain't bad.
Yeah, but just because it's a stereotype doesn't mean it's bad either. I get what you're saying. It was more heavily, more references on the black side than the Jewish side. But I think I was trying to jog my memory, like them being in the synagogue and her talking about her marrying a Jewish woman. But that
it was kind of
it. Like,
it was subtle.
And it could be. I mean, we know, unfortunately, there is heavy influence from the Jewish community, as we've seen in recent events.
I was ready to say, they do something, they'll call them anti-Semitic and shut the movie down.
Exactly.
But they can lean into the black references like no tomorrow.
I mean, so this is the thing, though. Do we think
And that's Kenya Barris, a black producer.
But so is it that, are we wrong as for the black community in not shutting it down? Or do we just have a better sense of humor where the Jewish community is like, they got to stick up their ass and y'all are too, tight about it. And so, I mean, it's like which side is wrong? Which side should change?
But I think you should care as much as the Jewish people care, because look how they get shit done in their community because they care.
I think you should care.
And they care about everything. They'll question everything being anti-Semitic until they figure it out. But they'll call out everything, anything close to it. Us, we won't. And it's like this shit kind of comes out and you can hear it floating around. You can see some people be like, that's kind of weak. But lots of people, it just goes past their face. It just goes past their head.
It's going to take the laughs out of life. So I personally don't think that we should be as...
It's going to take the laughs out of life.
Yeah, because if we got to tiptoe over on every community, it's like it's comedy. I don't think it was any... And I'm not Muslim. So if it was offensive to anybody in the Muslim community, then I can't speak for that. I didn't see anything that was offensive. Like we saw, what was the other movie that was like it was like a mockumentary, like satire about the church couple with Regina Hall.
Yeah.
Whatever it was called. Like,
Jesus something.
Jesus is Lord or something.
Something like that.
Okay, that was highly offensive. Not highly offensive. That shows so many church stereotypes. And there were people who thought, oh, it wasn't fun. But it was funny as hell. And I'm a Christian. And I grew up in church. And I know that a lot of those things were true. Not about all churches. But it was funny. It was a movie. Like, that's what comedy is. So I would rather for us to be able to accept comedy and laugh about it than to be so tight and stuck up where it's like, no, don't make a joke about us. Like, come on. Like, I would rather lean on our side than to be like so ass tight like they are about things where it's like, it's just jokes. Like, they're not they're stereotypes. And like you said, they're true. We know, like, people make stereotypes about like how, Spanish grandmoms are, or Italian girl. We just saw a show where the Italian lady like was cursing them out and doing.
Yeah, but you can't have it both ways. Where you say, okay, since you 42 years old, there must have been 98 slave movies that came out since you've been born, and it's true, it's real, but it gets old playing on that same thing.
Yeah, but I don't think it's anything anybody needs to apologize
like these
for. They
white
just need to be
people
more
need to
creative.
come up with this slave movie about a slave who was once caught and gets away, and like the whole it's the same story in all the movies because you play on the stereotypes of it.
Yeah, I think it just gets old, but it's not offensive. It's true. So I mean, yeah, I
think people do find it offensive that they keep making slave movies. I think people like I've heard people say that, like, another one. Like another slave movie? Like, Jesus Christ, how many y'all make 2-3 slave movies a year?
I don't think it's that many, but I get what you're saying. I don't find it offensive. I just don't watch.
Emancipation's out this year. Will Smith, another slave movie.
I think the last slave movie I saw was probably Django. And how offensive was that? But it was funny as hell. And maybe I just don't take things like that serious because it's a movie. Like,
I get it.
It's just,
I would be on your side to say, I don't want to have a stick up my ass about comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to laugh and joke, but I also want to be able to point out, like, when it's not fair. And it's like, okay, you didn't lean into that culture because you know they'll call you anti-Semitic and this fucking movie won't be out.
Yeah.
But you can lean into the black culture because, like she said, we may have a better sense of humor or we don't got no stick up our ass about
I would vote for having a sense of humor than to be like, snooty, like, don't you dare make a joke about us.
Swirling around on the internet, what did you think about the no kiss scene? So at the end, when they get married, they're supposed to come in and kiss. Their faces stop. Andrew Schultz had put this out there because he filmed the movie, and he said when we did the movie, their faces stopped. They didn't kiss, but in the movie, it's CGI when they do kiss. And some people thought it was like more of the Dr. Umar, you don't want to kiss, white people if that's not your thing. Some people thought it was just a Nipsey thing and she just didn't want to kiss. What was your thoughts on that?
I didn't even peep that, and then when you think about it,
when you go back and look at it, it kind of looks like a mushy.
But and just thinking about the movie in general, there were moments where, of course, it implied like they had sex, but there weren't any sex scenes in it, and that just may have been her personal choice, her personal preference. Maybe she didn't want to interact in that kind of way. It could be somebody's a germaphobe and they didn't want to interact in that kind of way.
Lots of people were saying it's different now on sets because of COVID. And people don't kiss like that. Or it's up to the actor. Like, because you can have two tested people and it'd be like, nah, I still don't want to do it.
Or you could have, nobody's testing for herpes on sets. Like, if I was an actor or actress.
I don't know if they test for herpes on sets. I know they test for HIV and like and for COVID. Like,
but I'm just saying, if I was an actor or an actress, like, I wouldn't be. I get it's just a scene. I wouldn't want to be so. And sometimes you got to do it over and over again. How about we just don't do it at all and y'all fake it? Like, I can understand. We talk about this like watching shows and stuff. Think about when we were saying, no, we would talk about in real life, like, oh, all these people just kissing each other, but it was TV. But when you think about it, they are actually kissing each other to make the scene. It's a little gross. Like, it's a little gross. I'm of that mindset. Like, kissing is very personal, and I understand this is their job, but kissing is very personal and up close. Like, kissing is more personal. more personal than sex. Like, I mean, you can have sex without kissing. Kissing is like very intimate.
I don't think it's more personal than sex.
Like, you're swapping spit
Yeah,
and like
but you're shooting fucking semen into somebody.
you don't have to.
Yeah, but you're still exchanging bodily fluids.
You don't have to.
What do you mean you don't have to?
A condom.
You still get bodily fluids on you.
But kissing is like so direct. All I'm saying is
no. I get what you're saying, but that statement just don't hold my water.
Okay.
It's that's a little bit more personal.
I'm just saying, like, okay, think about this, right? A man meeting a woman and having a one night stand, he could just knock it off from the back, never kiss her face. But if you like tonguing down this chick, this stranger, like, that's gross. And then yes, it's gross to like have a one night stand. Well, not, it may be irresponsible to have a one night stand with a stranger, but it's a different level. You having a one night stand
if
and
I
you
met a girl one night
down.
and I just kissed her all night long and was tonguing her down and we didn't have sex, we were just making out. Kissing alone, yeah, that can bring me mono or herpes or something like that. If I meet this girl and fuck her the first night, I could get AIDS. Like, I could die.
Yeah.
Like, sex is a little bit more personal. Like, I could get something to burn my penis off.
I'm just saying, kissing is very intimate.
Yeah,
so.
People now walking around with mono and herpes, and they living fine through life.
I'm just saying, I didn't even peep it, but when I think back on the movie, there weren't any sex scenes per se. Like,
no,
like they again, they had sex and it was implied like in the next scene. But it may have been a personal choice not to interact in that way, and I respect it if that's the case.
For whatever reason, whether it was Nipsey, whether it was
I don't
COVID,
think people
whether
stretch
it was
things so far when they talked about when like they want to interject Dr. Umar and everything.
You gotta put the messing with the snow bunnies and snow people.
But I feel like if somebody was of that mindset, they wouldn't even want to portray that character.
Right.
So I mean, you kissing this man is just like one step, one scene in a movie, but you're portraying a character about marrying a white man. So if she felt that strongly about it, I don't think she would have accepted the role. That's just my thought. Here's another conspiracy theory that people get on my nerves. Did you see the conspiracy theory about the Rock Nation brunch?
No.
So there was a picture of Jay-Z with a glass of wine in his hand. No, literally, this picture looked like it may have been taken as he was walking. So the liquid was probably moving. And somebody says, like, now, anybody ever seen wine that thick? What y'all think? I guess alluding to this Illuminati thing.
Oh my God.
I guess they thought it was blood. Like, this is why the internet is sick. And, like, it's ridiculous the conspiracies they have. So then you think you got, all these people at a brunch walking around drinking blood as part of their initiation. Get a life. Like, that's so stupid.
That's like the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
You got anything you learned?
I learned a new word.
Quick with it. We can't be a 2-hour podcast.
Vainglorious.
Oh. I learned it too, but go ahead.
Yes. So you gonna take what you learned?
But it's my what you learned too. Go ahead.
It means to be egotistical or boastful. And I just thought that I love vocabulary and words in general, but I thought that was a pretty cool word. So I'm looking to throw that in there. Vainglorious. Yeah. That was my word.
You're being a little vainglorious. 3 grams. Beyoncé line, Ivy Park, teamed up with Adidas this year. Supposed to was projected to make $250 million. Last year they made 90. This year they only made 40. And when you talk to a lot of people in the comments where you get this information from, a lot of people say it's just too expensive. And I've never bought Ivy Park. You have. Is it too expensive?
Okay, this is my thing.
Like, is it one of them brands that it could be like $50 cheaper? It could be like $30 cheaper. Too
expensive is subjective because what's too expensive? To somebody who buys $1,000 pocketbooks.
But that don't. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, $1,000 hoodie, $1,000 a hoodie is too expensive.
Okay, I don't think it's too expensive. Is it a higher price point for the items? It is.
You don't think $1,000 hoodie is too expensive?
No, I'm talking about Ivy Park. Her stuff isn't that much.
Oh, okay.
No, so a hoodie is probably $90.
Oh,
like
that's not expensive.
No, it's subjective. You can't say that to somebody who has a family to take care of who can't buy a $90 hoodie. and I think too, people look at it like they'll buy a $900 Gucci sweatshirt, but because it's Beyonce, they think that she shouldn't have an item that much.
What's the high end clothing? Balenciaga,
like
Gucci,
Amiri, like those type clothing lines.
What's the clothing under that? The next tier under that, if that's the high price, Polo.
I guess, like, yeah. I mean, you
ain't two others just because it's three over here.
You know, I don't care about names like that. So I mean, I don't know any names. I don't shop name brands like that. So I don't know. I can't name anything else for. I can't even think of any clothing lines right now
other than Polo.
I mean, because even Polo, I don't think is a high price clothing line. Like, you figure
I'm just saying
you can get a Polo sweatsuit less than a Milano sweatsuit.
Okay, there we go. So if you got Balenciaga and Gucci and Amiri as being the top clothing lines or more expensive, and then you have a Milano and a Polo, and let's just throw another one in there, whatever that is. Don't the average hoodie cost about $90? Like, what hoodies are $50? What hoodies are $40?
Fashion Over.
Okay, I'm just asking. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that's the average price of a hoodie, like $70, $65.
Some people can dress without ever buying a name brand. Some people.
How much is a Champion hoodie?
Depending on if it's on sale or not, it could be $60.
All right, so that's what I thought the average price of a hoodie was.
Yeah, but you gotta think somebody can go to Walmart and get a $20 hoodie and order some cargos from Fashion Nova that cost $30 and look fly in their outfit without having a name because they.
That's true, and I don't have a problem with that. But I don't think those are the people that's saying Ivy Park is that expensive.
No, I think that those are the people that will shop at Fashion Nova for a $30 shirt. They're not looking to buy a $60 t-shirt.
Okay.
So I think those are fashions, which they call like a Fashion Nova, like a Shein. Mm-hmm. Those fashions that aren't necessarily a brand per se, but they kind of sell a little bit of everything for cheap. They have kind of taken over the market, which I don't have no problem with at all, because people can put on a really cute outfit, a whole outfit that costs $50 or less,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
But have a high price bag or a high price shoe. So it makes it so that you don't have to buy expensive clothes to look nice, which I love. That's my favorite thing to do. But then you have brands like Ivy Park. But this is the thing too. It ain't for everybody. And I think I would love to be a consultant with Beyonce. I think where the mistake is, her brand is very inclusive in terms of gender and size. But she has to think about realistically when you're making these clothes for all inclusive size. Like, I think her stuff goes up to like a size 5X. But some of the stuff is like, sis, if anybody is a 5X, let me not say that. If I was a 5X, that ain't for my body type. Like, you can't make these cat suits that look amazing, and because you're marketing as being all inclusive, you're gonna lose some money at this end of the size chart, because us, the plus size community, we need a little more coverage. So I love her items. I have something from 3. I think she's had 4 different collections, and I have something from 3 of the collections so far. But
it's supposed to go away because, like they said, this year was projected at 250. Last year they made 90, and this year they made only 40. And she makes $20 million a year from Ivy Park.
I think they need to reassess. And some of the things too are very where am I wearing this to? Like, it's some are too fashion forward in a sense, if that's a thing, where it's like, all right, this is nice, but where am I wearing this sequin cat suit? Which I would buy it. A lot of people would, but you ain't gonna make a whole lot of money off of that. Right. So the price point is a little high. I will say the best quality sweatpants that I probably have seen, but everything ain't for everybody.
Second Gram, Billboard's top 50. Top 50 rappers came out, and I'm not reading all 50, just the top 10. Mm-hmm. Number 1 voted was Jay-Z. Number 2, Kendrick. Number 3, Nas. Number 4, Tupac. Number 5, Eminem. 6, Biggie. 7, Weezy. 8, Drake. Weezy, Drake, Snoop, and Nicki Minaj rounds out number 10.
You know what's sad about that? Why are you shaking?
Just shaking my leg.
You know what's sad about that? Because I think he would be in there had this list come out 2 years ago. Where's Kanye?
Yeah, he's not gonna be on nobody's list.
Yeah, he's not. But because of, you know, his current situation, I think that's a good list, though. I mean,
Kind of did that to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a good list. I seen
top 10 rappers of all time. You think Nicki Minaj is on the top 10 rappers of all time?
I don't, but I think a lot of other people do. I mean, I think she's.
There's no Big Daddy Kane on here. There's no fucking Cool G Rap. There's no Public Enemy. There's no like you got.
But you're talking about top 10
of all time.
But okay, so
not of the decade, of all time, of all fucking 50 years.
So if you put Big Daddy Kane and Cool G Rap, and okay, you will remove Nicki and who else?
I don't think Kendrick should be in here of all time.
But you got to think about, there are people, and when I see them talk about Kendrick,
this time. I'm talking about you talking about the people that should be in the realm of Jay-Z, Biggie, and Nas and Tupac.
I do think this list is a very current hip hop list, like probably last 20-year hip hop. I don't think they're really looking at all time, to be fair. So to your point, yeah, because I can think about, okay, where's Jadakiss?
You know, talking about, like where's Fabulous? Like
where's Beanie Siegel?
Exactly. So I'm talking about, you got Nicki Minaj number 10. You got I don't. You got Kendrick number 2, and not Nas or Biggie.
I don't know enough. No. I know one Kendrick, and I don't even. That ain't even his song. It's Lil Wayne's song. But you know, Jay-Z and Wayne are 2 of my top 5. So I'm happy to see them in the list. Who's your top 5?
Top 5: Jay-Z, Biggie, Weezy, Pac, and number 5 is hard.
Give me one.
Big Daddy Kane.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
It wouldn't be like Kanye or nobody like that.
Kanye's
talking
in my
about all
top.
time.
We're
not talking about of the 2000s or of this decade. Like
I can't reference Big Daddy Kane in them because that's.
But you know that they're a pioneer, even without you hearing.
But
them,
I can't say they're my top 5.
Them.
But in the Billboard, yeah, I mean my top 5 they wouldn't be included because I'm not familiar with their music.
Right,
like that.
But you know how hip hop reveres them as being the pioneers.
Well, like I can think of like the guy Eric Sermon.
That's EPMD. I mean, I wouldn't say they were all time. They were a hell of a good.
Were they in the list?
Yeah, no, EPMD was not in the list.
I saw a comment from Ja Rule saying like he wasn't in the list either.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't think he.
And he wasn't in the list, and this is Billboard's list. That's fucked up if he wasn't, because all he did was Billboard. All he did was chart.
But he kind of was a singer, rapper, so, you know.
Yeah.
Was 50 Cent on the list?
Yeah, 50 was on the list. Okay. But that was just the top 10. I
I got you.
50 was a lot of names. Super Bowl, baby.
Whoop, whoop.
Halftime show. What's your thoughts on Rihanna? Quick, 10 seconds.
I'm excited. I want to see it. It's really unexpected. She hasn't had any new music in a long time. I hope she gives us what we really want, though. Like, I hope it's good and juicy.
She performing with Coldplay.
It's still, I think Rihanna, she's one of those artists that is multifaceted. I think she can perform with Coldplay. She can perform with anybody. Stevie, like I think she herself can do anything musically. So it can be from ratchet to sultry to anything. So I hope it's just like awesome because she hasn't had any music in a long time. You know, this current Lift Me Up song, I like it, but it's not like giving me what I want in whatever her new album is gonna be. So I just hope that it satisfies our taste buds for her right now.
I'm sure she'll be nice on the eyes and, you know, have some good music. She's a dope artist. I'm happy for her. I hope it's a great show. It's a 24-minute halftime show, so I think she's going to do a good job.
And we like Coldplay, too.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who else she brings out other than Coldplay. So, shouts out to Rihanna. Yeah. Winners and score.
Eagles, of course. I'm thinking 24-17.
Eagles?
Yes.
I think it's the Birds going to win, but I think it's going to be a much higher game. I go 38-35.
Woo! That's a good one if it goes
Yeah, it's
there.
gonna be a little back and forth with Mahomes and Hurts, but I think Eagles pull it out 38-35.
Okay. We betting something?
No. That's a wrap. Act 2 the podcast, episode 109, coming to a close. It's your boy International Walk.
You got to point to me. It's your girl Tosh.
Act2thepodcast.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, TikTok, Breaker, and Spotify. Y'all can catch us on those platforms. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.